All right, we got a big one here today. We've got the Ford Expedition, and this one here we're gonna be doing with you guys to show you some of the tricks when you're spraying these dark charcoals with the model. But my man Mike, you guys remember him from the G8. He tried to sneak one on and get it in here without pulling the door, but we got him anyway.
I tried.
All right, so this is the repair on the driver's side. We had a little damage to this here pillar, and we went ahead, removed the windshield. That way we had access to it so we could repair it. And then we're taking it all the way back here to this factory seam. This one here has a break from the quarter panel to the sail panel, which makes it nice because we don't have to worry about blending and doing any type of spot repairs. You guys know we like to take everything to the end of the panel. That way there's no blending in the clear coat. Then we have a repair on the quarter as well as the blend on the door. And then this one here had a hood that was really rock chipped up. So what we like to do here at this shop is go ahead and strip it completely. That way we're not fighting primer feather edge, sand scratching, or any type of shrinkage in our primer. Go ahead and just strip it completely. Then move into your epoxy as a wet on wet, and then move into your base and clear coat. And you guys will see at the end of this video, this will be beautiful. All right, so I wanted to show you guys something that we picked up here for the booth, and this is the floor covering from Pigmat. So a lot of guys are running the Like 90. I did reach out to them a while back and I never got a response on that material. So we went ahead and picked up the Pigmat. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna keep down a lot of the dust and dirt, because if you guys see here, we do have a downdraft spray booth. But in the center of the booth is a lot of surface area without having any ventilation. So what you'll do is you'll pick up different debris and dust and sand, and then you'll have that as a chance to kick back up. So what this stuff here is really good for is holding it down. And this one here is a really, really nice product. I'll show you guys here in a second. Let me pull it out. All right, so this is it out of the box, and right away I can see that this is a well-made product by the way that this is actually has a woven texture to it, as well as the adhesive back. So I'm really looking forward to trying this out, because this is a nice booth, but we do have a lot of open area without having the exhaust filter. So you'll pick up dust and dirt, and sometimes when you're spraying, it'll kick back on some of the lower rocker panels, or if you're doing something like inside the jam, even if you blow that out, after you're done, you sweep it, you'll feel it, and it'll still have dust on it. So I'm hoping that this is gonna knock out some of that problem that I'm having on some of the lower rockers that we do in the shop. And then I guess what they want you to do is vacuum it instead of blow and sweep. And then you could always spray this down with some of that dust control stuff in the morning. That way it's almost activated and you don't have any chance of stuff blowing up. So something I'm really looking forward to trying out, and I'll let you guys know how it works out for me once I get it installed. All right, now that we've got it all clean, we're gonna go ahead and get our epoxy on that. And this is the DP90. This is a black epoxy from PPG. And this is normally mixed 2 to 1, but we're gonna mix it 1 to 1 and use this as a sealer. That way we're gonna have proper adhesion to our aluminum hood, as well as using it on the rest of the bodywork as a sealer. So let's go ahead, mix that up 1 to 1, apply our sealer down, and then I'm gonna show you guys my technique. That way I don't have any models with these hard charcoal grays. All right, so now that you guys see that the sealer looks nice, by adding that extra 1 part of the reducer, changing it from 2-to-1 to 2-1-to-1, it really lays it down nice and it gives it a good adhesion for that base coat. So now that we're talking base, I'm gonna let you guys know what gun we're using. We're gonna be using a 3M Performance gun. It's one of my favorite guns. You guys know I have a lot, but the one thing difference is that this head comes off and you don't have to clean your gun all day long. And you guys see here, this is a big booth, so that means we have to fill it with multiple colors. And in order to do that, I like to use the 3M Performance gun because I can change out my heads quick, change out colors, and I have multiple of these 3M Performance guns, and it really speeds me up through the day and it gives a beautiful finish. So let's go ahead and put down a coat on this here gun. I like to spray it at 4 turns out from close on the fluid and 3.5 on the fan. Let's go ahead and apply a coat, and I'll talk to you guys more about how not to have any mottle with your paint. All right, so you've seen I applied that one a little bit differently than I normally do. With them charcoal grays, they have really, really good coverage. So what I do is I go across the panel and then I come back down. And that is a very wet coat. So what I'll do now is I'll turn my booth up to about 110 and go ahead and dry that base coat really good. And then we'll go back in and we'll apply our 2 drop coats. So what I like to do with my metallics with these charcoals is turn it down to about 12 to 14 PSI and then come off that panel and give it a very light 2 drop coats. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna even out all the metallics beautifully. You guys will see that. And I'll tell you what, that 3M Performance lays down a beautiful, beautiful metallic coat. It's one of my favorites. I've always talked about it. Even years ago when I was at the other shop, I always talk highly of the 3M Performance gun. I know there's a lot of guys that don't like it, and I'm not really sure why. So let's go ahead, we'll bake that for about 110, and then we'll go back in and we'll put 2 drop coats on it. All right, so we applied our drop coats, and that is the orientation coat, the control coat, the drop coat, whatever way you want to call it. That is the coat with a higher distance at a lower pressure. And you guys see I put mine on very light. I like to put it on to where once that coat is applied, after I move across that panel, it is completely dry. And then I'll go ahead and move around the other parts and put one more drop coat without even coming out of the booth. And by the time I go to mix up clear, I'm able to apply the clear right on top of it without having to worry about it being wet, because it is such a small, light drop coat just for the metallics. So let's go ahead and clear it, and then I'll show it to you guys what it looks like all finished up. All right, so let me know how you think that job came out, and let me know how you guys handle your heavy metallic colors that like to model. I like to put down the 2 drop coats from a high distance that are very light. That way they dry nice and easy, and all you're doing is laying out your metallics on that. You're not trying to get that panel wet, because to me, when you wet the panel up, that's what causes the mottling. So if you guys thought that was a big one, look at what I got to deal with now. We got body work as well as a new panel on this big box truck. So stay tuned to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.